Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Maximum Octane. I am so excited today for my guest because he's doing something that y'all need to be. And I'm saying y'all because he's from Jasper, Alabama, Mr. Mark Jasper, and he is the owner and operator of Marks Automotive. So welcome today.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, one of the reasons that I wanted to chat with you today is because people speak very highly about the culture at your shop. And in addition to the culture, how you've been able to develop a second in command, which is allowing you to do things that you need to be doing to grow the business and also that you want to be doing. So, let's start with culture first.
Yeah, like the culture and shop, it's been a challenge, but the good part about our shop is we've all been together for such a long time that the culture just kind of grew from that. So every time we add an employee on, we just kind of brought them in to like our group, and we all treat everybody like family. So, like I said, I got a really good group, and we're real close, and we have fun, and we get we got a job to do, but we make it fun and interesting for everybody.
Well, you make that sound very easy. And I can tell you that I talk to many business owners that have had employees together for a long time and they don't have a good culture. So, what are some of the secrets or tips that you have for that?
One of the main things I can suggest is just stay involved with your people. Every morning I have a routine when I come in the shop. I meet with each and every person. How was your night? What did we have for supper last night? What do we have contests? We have cooking. Who can cook the best supper the night before? We'll post it, stuff like that. We just try to keep it interesting. In our meetings, we always just try to talk about family and life. Not just auto repair, which of course is our main goal at work, but we just try to keep it more like a family. And we, like I said, it's not as easy as it sounds, but it's a little bit of a challenge, but we enjoy it, and I hope to keep it that way. And I want to grow the business in that fashion.
All of the studies and any surveys that we do, studies that we read, whether it's Harvard Business Review or anything else, today's world, especially, people want to be a part of something bigger. They don't want to just be a number where they work. They want to know they matter. They want to have personal relationships. And that's something that many business owners are have struggled with because the way they were raised or the way that they grew up in whatever business it was, you're to work to do a job. We're not here to be friends. We're not here to whatever. You got friends at home. This is not a social thing. This is a job. So how did you make that transition to be like, hey, this is a social event. These are my friends. How did they come about?
Well, you're absolutely correct, Kim. The way I grew up and the way I was raised in my first jobs, and I worked in a trailer plant for a one summer, and that's exactly the culture in there. It was you come in, you clock in, you do this, and this, and then you get a break and lunch, and you go home, and you get a paycheck. That's your reward, And when I was in high school and in college, I was dreaming of opening a business, and I did work. I worked at a dealership for several years to kind of working on my business plan. But that was one of my things. I said, when I have my own business, I want it to be a family. I don't want it. I don't want it to be this is a job that I have to come to and make a paycheck. I always want our goals to result. I wanted the paycheck to be a byproduct of our success, and I feel like that's helped us tremendously.
I love that. I love it that the focus on is the paycheck as a byproduct of that. So some of the other questions that we get, or when people start to try to do this a different way, is then there's that saying, familiarity breeds contempt. And sometimes when you become too friendly with your internal customers, then it loses the boundaries of an employer employee, or however you want to call it, a supervisor, whatever verbiage that you want to use. And then the lines get blurred, and then the people working with you no longer see you as someone of authority, but is like, they're my friend. I don't care. I could be late. I could do whatever. How did you work all that around?
Absolutely. Well, I'm not going to say that in the past, this is actually our tenure. This has been our 10 years in business. In the past, we might have crossed the line of too friendly. Um, the past couple of years, we've really worked on that. Uh, hey, you have a job to do. We have processes. I am your friend, but I'm also the leader, and we have stuff we have to do. So I've done a better job personally of, just letting letting my employees know that, um, I'm in charge, but I'm also your friend. But let's keep it business oriented, that way.
And you can do both. You're a living example of that. You can be friends to your internal customers, but also lead them. And I think that's something that people get afraid of not knowing how to do that. And there's difficult conversations, right? Sometimes when you have someone that you're
Oh,
friends with.
absolutely.
Can you share any of
Oh,
the
absolutely.
can you share
Yeah,
a time that maybe that was a little difficult, or you had to have a difficult conversation?
yeah. I've got one. One of my technicians actually. He, um, he smokes cigarettes, which is it's one of my pet peeves, and I'm not saying if you want to do it, that's not my problem. Just please don't do it in my shop around my customers' vehicles. And that's where I go back to in the past. He's also been with me for a long time. In the past, I allowed it, and that's my fault. So when I made the rule for the no smoking in the shop, it has been it was a big transition for him because that's what he's used to. That's what he's used to doing. So I would sit him down on just like on one on one, and I'd be like, I'd be like, Spence, man, we've got to do it this way. I mean, I don't want to take further action, but if this is what we have to do, and I want you to understand, and I don't, I am your friend, but you have to do this. This is a policy, and long story short, we overcome it, and now, this is about a year ago or two, and he follows the rules, and so we're good on that one. That's just one off the top of my head that was kind of tough for me because I really had to get kind of rough, probably rougher than I'm explaining, but we made it through it, and we came over the other side, and everything's fine.
That's such a good point, because you have to have your non-negotiables, and that's where I think people get into
Yeah,
trouble, is they don't have their list of non-negotiables, and whether they post them or they just know internally. And so many things bleed into each other, and we make so many exceptions, but at the end of the day, there has to be some non-negotiables and some lines we don't cross, and expectations that we have to keep. And do you think that a
absolutely.
lot of times, with especially in today's world, people are overlooking more things because of they're having a tougher time finding new people, and so they're kind of letting things slide that they didn't used to let slide?
Oh, absolutely, more than ever. The automotive technician is getting harder to find. The new breed or whatever of technician, the younger generation, they have totally different, you know, um, expectations from the employer, and they also have a totally different. The employer gets different expectations from the employee, if that makes sense. They're just not the same anymore. So you definitely have to be creative in hiring, and if you get someone, even if they're not, say a ATEC or whatever, um, just I we do training, just train them, give them online classes. There's plenty of sources out there in the the internet world, plenty of companies, but I'd say train your technician, and they don't have to be a master technician anymore. We have enough resources out there available to do in-house training, and I think that's the future.
Isn't that crazy today? It's so amazing to see that a lot of shops don't even have ATEX anymore, and don't even want them, and they're doing almost everything they were before, with using all the technology and the scanners and stuff today, and also IATN and Identifix and YouTube. YouTube, more and more I see so many shops going to YouTube to help look at something because there's a common problem, and it's like, gosh, there's so much
Uh,
information now.
hey, listen, Kim, at my shop we have three avenues of diagnostic process. It's it's the inspection process, the diagnosing process, then your helpline is Identifix, and then it's YouTube. So it's actually up there on the list
Is it?
because somebody's been there.
Somebody's been there and you could find it. I love what they have. I see funny patches like memes on the automotive boards, and they'll have like it looks like an ASE technician patch, but it says YouTube, YouTube certified
Absolute
technician.
YouTube certified, absolutely. Now I will say YouTube will definitely lead you astray in a very big hurry, but it's ideas, just something. There's a lot of material out there to help.
There is that's so wonderful, and it's great. That technicians today are embracing the technology, because that's something still some of the older technicians are not wanting to embrace the newer technology that we have today, and it would cut down on the amount of time they're spending on some things. Sometimes they're beating their head against the wall. So okay, so part of
Absolutely,
your
yeah. The
culture, you're developing or developed a second in command. So let's chat about that for a little bit.
I have a guy that's been with me for 8 of the 10 years, and prior to me opening my business, we actually worked together at a dealership. He worked in the parts department, and I was a technician, of course. And I started my business by myself in a shop in 2013, and it quickly grew. I built a customer base, over the years, and it, when I went on my own, of course I was nervous and scared, but there was never a day that I was ever slow. So I kept bugging him, and finally, he said, I'm coming, I'll come, Greg," and he started writing service for me. So it was me and him. He was my service writer, and I was the mechanic for about a year, and then we added on uh, Spencer, my master tech, and he's been with us. He's still with us. So that's when I started saying, "Hey, we got something here. Let's go." And it it hasn't been easy. And it's been a trip. A lot of ups and downs. But David has always had my back, and he is very loyal to the business. He's willing to learn, and he's getting there, and we're so close. So a couple years ago, me and my family had an opportunity. We may be relocating. We're going to leave the business, where it is, and I'm going to let David be second in command, and we're going to see how it goes. And I want to further the business where we're moving to. I don't know if it's going to be mobile. I don't know, if it's going to be an actual shop on the ground, but I'm just going to expand that way, and we'll just see how it goes.
So what did that look like for you to make that decision, and what kind of arguments did you have with yourself about, is this the right thing to do? Is
It
this the
it
right person? Is this
I'm still there's days I still say, am I making the right decision? But I feel confident in the decision. I hate to be this way. He's not me, um, but he knows exactly the way I think, and what I expect, my expectations. So um, that helps. But we're not all the way there yet, but we're getting closer every day.
what are some of the non-negotiables that you had in your head when you were like, I'm going to create a second in command position, and this is the qualities the
Oh,
person
oh,
had, and here's my non-negotiables?
yeah. Well, definitely presence. You know, to my customers, presentation. Um, Definitely the business plan. Stick to it. Stick to the plan. That was very important. Um, you know, um, routine daily, daily habits that we do every day while I'm in the shop. It's like we're open from 8 to 5, and that's every day, Monday through Friday. Let's keep it that way. Just things like that, and
Can I tell you how happy I am to hear that? My one of my pets peeves is when I go to any business, whether it be a restaurant, automotive repair, or whatever. I pull the door and it's locked, and I look, and I am well within the parameters of what their posted hours say, and it just makes me
absolutely,
crazy.
that makes two of us, Kim. That makes two of us. If you're open till 5, you're open till 5. You're not open till 4:55, right?
Yep, that's I. All right, so I love that's a non-negotiable. Any other traits that you're looking for that person had to have?
Like I said, just personality. Definitely don't. You definitely want to be a people person, for sure. Um, Morals, values. Just all around. In the auto repair, people don't realize, but we're in sales. We have to present a product to the customer they may or may not know that they need at the time. So we have to be very professional. Dress code, very important. Um, we stick to a dress code, and no, that's some things that just come to my head just off the top of my head.
That and that's huge, right? The branding, that person is going to be representing the image of your business, and so they have to have all those right pieces because people know they're out there. It always drives
Correct.
me crazy when people say, "Oh, it's okay if I act like this out at wherever place, or I'm not on the clock, I can behave any crazy way or post anything I want to on Facebook." And you have to think about that still reflects on the business. The customer doesn't look and go, "Oh, that's my technician," but he can act like a damn fool because it's outside of 8 to 5, right? That they look and say, "That's my technician," or "That's my doctor," or "That's my whatever," and they're acting crazy and unprofessional, and so they're not going to separate and say, "Oh, that's okay," as long as they don't say those nasty things during 8 to 5. It's okay. It's everything speaks, and you're always on
Yeah,
stage and you're always representing the brand. So there's that. So
absolutely, and
what
that's one
kind of
thing. About the brand, like you said, after hours. My group, they're proud. They're proud of Marks Automotive. They're proud of us, and they do wear our hats and our shirts, out in public, and I have we've really not had any issues with that so far, thankfully. But um, I could see where that would be a problem with me. If, don't degrade the brand ever. It's my baby. So
well, if you don't have a written policy, I would suggest that you have one for wearing the apparel, and that goes for everybody, because if you're not having an issue right now, it doesn't mean. I had one time, I couldn't believe it. We had a shop, a tire shop down the street from my shop, and whatever reason one of my technicians, they gave my technician bad service, and it was this whole thing, and my technician was driving by their shop and spinning his wheels and doing all kinds of crazy stuff after he would leave,
oh
and
yeah,
they called me, and I talked to the tech, and he's like, "What do I do after 5 o'clock is my business?" And I'm like, "No, you went in there and said I work for Hickey Automotive, and you
exactly,
used my discount, and you're wearing my hat, and you're wearing my shirt, and so no, it's not. If you
yeah,
can't be a good person all the time, you don't fit on the team."
absolutely.
And it's hard, because everybody has personal freedom, but plus you shouldn't be acting a fool anywhere, but
No, definitely
certainly
not.
not with my name on your hat. That's for dang sure.
Definitely not. I can
All right.
see. Yeah, that would definitely be a problem.
It was a problem. That didn't go over well. Didn't go over well with me. So you got a second in command. What did you put in place for oversight? Because that's another thing that people struggle with. You want to delegate things to your second in command, and you want to say you're in charge, do it, but you also have to trust but verify. You have to, not because you don't trust them, but you still have to verify things are going the way you want. So what is your process for oversight?
Actually, I just made a list. I'm with a amazing coaching group. You probably heard of them, but they really help out with stuff like that. Um, So I just basically have a list of things of duties, daily duties, that he's supposed to do daily and weekly, and monthly, and we keep that list out, and we look at it per weekly at this point. It's going to turn into daily, but and we kind of check off the things, and I basically had him shadow me some because it's kind of hard to get. He's got basically got to replace me in a sense, so, and it's hard to get all the stuff that I've went through over the years into his brain. Um, so that's kind of challenge, but yeah, we just have a list of duties. Hey, we do this. We check our every morning. We go around, check on everybody, and make sure they're good. We check we get on our point of sale system. We check our numbers from the day before, prior. How many jobs do we have waiting? How many do we have done? We need to follow up on just things like that. And of course, the front office is supposed to handle that too, but you have to check up on it. You just I wish it was automated fully, but we'll get there one day. Still a work in progress, but that's just kind of what the things that we go over, and there's much more. But like I said, just we have a list. We have a clear list of duties.
So there isn't any question what the expectations are.
Correct. If there's a problem, and like I said, I'm not selling. I'm not walking away from it. I will still check in on it, and I'll from time to time. So that'll give me the opportunity to make sure that he's doing his job properly. So so that's one thing in my situation. I'm not leaving it. I'm trying to expand it in a different way. So um, I'll still be there checking that from time to time.
Trust but verify is like one of my favorite sayings, and that's another misconception I think that people have, whether it be the owner or the second in command, that when you follow up and you have whatever you use, whether it's a weekly dashboard, a morning huddle, whatever your process is, your checklist, that you're verifying, you're not following up behind them, you're not doing whatever. It's a reporting measure to keep everybody on the same page, and it's as simple as that. And sometimes I see people oh, they don't trust me because they want me to verify, that I'm doing this, but it's part of doing
Yeah,
business. And I think if you set those expectations up front, that here are the things that
yeah,
will always be monitored here to ensure the brand and the quality of Marks Automotive, here is our list.
yeah,
And there isn't any questions or hurt feelings later on of, why are you asking me this? What's that about?
yeah. Absolutely, I agree. I feel like any brand or any franchise out there. I mean, they do spot checks even with the owner. They do. So I mean, why would it be any different at this level?
I absolutely agree. So having a second in command, what are some of the things that's allowed you to do now for the business?
It's helped me a lot with actually being able to work on the business. Marketing, I really got involved in doing more marketing for my customers. Postcards, things, just small things like that to try to avenue the type of repairs that we want in the shop. It's really helped me do that. Um, Freedom. This gave me some free time. I don't have to be there every second of every day. I can actually do stuff for myself, and what I haven't been able to do in the past. I was married to it. If the doors were open, I was there. So it's freed me up a lot, and it's but like I said, when I do get the free time, I can go out and talk to other business owners, and other shops. That's kind of during the week. That's what I've been doing. I just kind of been more involved with the community, I guess you could say, stuff like that, and it's just helped me to get our profits up and get our get our car count up and stuff like that.
Well, when you're not in the daily operations and putting out little fires or running around all day with like a chicken with your head cut off, it gives you space to do the things you need. And with a lot of that noise and busy work being taken off your plate, it allows for more creative thinking, doesn't it?
Oh, you just wouldn't believe. I'm actually a book reader now. I'm 43 and I've never really was a book reader until recently, and you just would not believe the information that you can gather. But time helps. Having a little bit of time helps with that.
Do you have a routine for reading?
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of an audio book type guy. But I do a lot when I'm in the vehicle. If I'm in the vehicle, it used to, instead of listening to the radio, I'm listening to a book. So in the mornings, I listen, and in the evenings, I'll listen. And if we ever do a trip, I mean, I'll try to get a whole book in there. So um, that's kind of how I do it. For me personally, it works for me.
Awesome. A lot of people are transitioning to the audibles because it just works in there.
Yeah,
They're going for a walk or they're doing their chores or
absolutely.
whatever, just want a quiet time in the morning. A lot of people I know have switched to listening or reading their books in the morning before they leave the house and start getting ready. It's sort of like a almost like a
Yeah,
meditation for them to kind of listen to 10 or 15 minutes of a book or read it and just have some quiet
yeah.
time. So
I do. Now, I will add. Now, they are all automotive genre or business. Now, I don't any of the other stuff. I
you're
don't know
not
about
reading any
those,
love
but
stories or
no
vampire
dramas. Yeah,
romances.
no, I'm out on that. I'm out on that. It's hard enough just to do the business part. So, but it's all good. It's all good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, obviously, to get to the level of success that you're at now, you shared you've had ups and downs and little bumps here and there, and are always improving things. What's an unproductive habit you had that you're like, I got to put this away, and it's gonna make things better?
There's so many. I don't even. I really don't. I mean, I feel like an unproductive habit I had in the past. Would be like not having a vision, a plan. I mean, not showing it. So not having goals set clearly, visible goals. I feel like that was very unproductive for the shop in the past. My team is super goal driven, and I didn't know that until we started posting goals and making goals, and then I realized, hey, these guys they love goals, and so do I, of course, but I didn't express it, in the past. So I feel like that was a very productive habit to change, and now I just can't wait. I can't wait for the next set of goals. I can't wait for the next year. Um, and I set them, my goals. We set our goals sometimes crazy high, but I say, what do we have to lose? So, and they love it. So I feel like that's one thing that stands up there. There's so many, like I said, unproductive habits. That list is too long for anybody, I'm assuming. But
If we had to do mine, this would be a very long podcast. So people would fall asleep by the end of it. Well, I know that you're super
right,
busy and have a lot going on, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us this morning. And I just love what you're doing. I am inspired by what you're doing, and it just warms my heart to see when people are getting to achieve their goals, and more importantly, you're helping other people achieve their goals and working with them. And so hats off to you for that. So I appreciate you being here today. Any final words for our listeners?
um, no, just I say, positive mental attitude. Uh, Stay positive and go for your dreams and goals, and just don't ever give up. Every day when I wake up, I wake out of bed, and some days aren't great. I'm not gonna lie, but I always say to myself, it's gonna be a great day, and just give it all you got. So that's I feel like that's all of us can ask for.
Fantastic. Perfectly said. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody, stay safe, make good choices, and stay inspired. And I will be back next week.